today we will be looking at our final FRQ of the year, which is going to be FRQ number 12. So let's just go ahead and get started. We have a function defined by this piecewise function. When x is less than or equal to 0, we have 1 minus 2 sine of x. When x is greater than 0, we have e to the negative 4x. So we're going to show that f is continuous at x equals 0. Now remember, there are three things to show continuity. F of c has to exist. The limit as x approaches c of f of x has to exist. Right? And these two are equal to each other. So let's just start with the function existing. So f of 0, well, that's equal to, the equal to sign is on this one, so that's equal to 1 minus 2 sine of 0. Sine of 0 is 0, so this equals 1. Next, we see that the limit exists. Remember, to show the limit exists, we show the limit from the left is equal to the limit from the right. So limit as x approaches 0 from the left of f of x, well, that's equal to the limit as x approaches 0 from the left of 1 minus 2 sine of x. We just showed that we can just plug 0 in there, and that gives us 1. Now we do limit as x approaches 0 from the right of f of x, which is equal to e to the negative 4x, or the limit of e to the negative 4x. And this is one that we can also just plug in 0 to. So this is equal to e to the 0, which is equal to 1. So that means the limit as x approaches 0, because the limit from the left and the right are the same, of f of x equals 1. And so f of 0 equals the limit as x approaches 0 of f of x, which equals 1. So f is continuous. You get 2 points, and they're just for the analysis. I don't know exactly where the points were given, because it doesn't say it on the scoring rubric for this year. It just says 2 points for the analysis, which means for all of your work together, it's 2 points. For part B, for x not equal to 0, express f prime of x as a piecewise defined function. Find the values of x for which f prime of x equals negative 3. Okay, so first we need to express it as a piecewise function by taking the derivative. So that means f prime of x is equal to, and we're just going to take the derivative of both the top and the bottom. So the first one, derivative gives us negative 2 cosine x for x less than or equal to 0. And then negative 4 e to the negative 4x for x greater than 0. Now we want to figure out all the places where x is, or where the function, the derivative is equal to negative 3. So let's look at both of these. We don't care if it's before x equals 0 or after x equals 0. We just want the places where it's equal to negative 3. So we have negative 2 cosine x equals negative 3. We'll solve this one, but we only care about the x's that are less than 0. And then we'll solve this one. And we only care about the x's that are greater than 0. So we divide by negative 2. We get cosine of x equals 3 over 2. And by your properties of cosine, you should know that there's a problem here. Problem is, cosine by itself cannot be bigger than 1 or less than negative 1. 3/2 is bigger than 1, so this one does not equal 3. Or negative 3. So let's check this one. Divide by negative 4, we have e to the negative 4x equals 3/4. The only way to get rid of that e is do natural log of both sides. So we have natural log of e to the negative 4x equals natural log of 3/4. Well, this just cancels out and leaves us with negative 4x equals natural log of 3/4. So x is equal to natural log of 3/4 over negative 4. Now, your question is this greater than 0 or less than 0? So let's look at this. X equals natural log of 3/4 over 4. Okay? Let's think about what the graph of natural log looks like. We know at 1, it crosses the x-axis. So that means everything before 1 is negative, and everything after 1 is positive. So, oops, forgot that. So this is natural log of a number before 1 over negative 4. So this is some negative number over negative 4. So this is positive. So that means natural log of 3/4 over negative 4 is greater than 0. So that means our answer is x equals natural log of 3/4 over negative 4. Because it falls within the range that we wanted. Okay, so you get 3 points here. 2 points for finding the correct derivative, and 1 point for getting the correct x value. Okay, moving on to the last part, we have now 4 points left that we need to figure out. We're looking for the average value of this f. Now remember, average value is not just the integral. It's 1 over b minus a, integral from a to b of f of x. The problem is, from negative 1 to 1, we have this gap in functions. So what we're going to do first, we're going to find our integral first, and then we're going to come back at the end and do the average value once we know what the value of the integral is. So the integral from a to b, f of x dx, that's the integral from negative 1 to 1 of f of x dx, but our integral has to split at 0. So we have the integral from negative 1 to 0 of f of x dx. So this is all the numbers that are less than 0, plus the integral from 0 to 1 of f of x dx. This is all the ones that are greater than 0. So when we rewrite this, we can say we're doing the integral from negative 1 to 0 of 1 minus 2 sine x dx plus the integral from 0 to 1 of e to the negative 4x dx. And now we need to actually solve this. Not going to be great numbers, just be prepared for that. So let's start with this one. Integral of 1 is just x minus integral of 2 sine x. Well, that's 2 times the integral of sine x, which is just going to be negative cosine x. So we get positive 2 cosine x dx, not dx, from negative 1 to 0. Plus integral from 0 to 1, well, we'll not do integral 0 to 1 there, because we need to use u substitution here. U is going to be negative 4x. Du is going to be negative 4 dx. We need a negative 4 on the inside, which means we need a negative 1/4 on the outside. And we need our new bounds. New lower bound is still 0. New upper bound is now negative 4 e to the u du. So we can go ahead and start plugging things in over here. Plug in 0, we get 0 plus 2 cosine of 0 minus, plug in negative 1 plus 2 cosine of negative 1 plus 1/4 times e to the u from 0 to negative 4. We'll simplify this a little bit. Cosine of 0 is 1, so this is 2. Minus negative 1 is plus 1. Minus 2 cosine of negative 1, so minus 2 cosine negative 1. Plus 1/4 times, we'll set this one up, 1/4 e to the negative 4 minus e to the 0. So we end up with 3 minus 2 cosine negative 1 plus 1/4 times e to the negative 4th minus 1. This is our integral. So this is the integral from negative 1 to 1 of f of x dx. But remember, that's not what we're looking for. We're looking for the average value. So now what we're going to do is we're going to say, okay, 1 over 1 minus negative 1 times the integral from negative 1 to 1 of f of x dx, because this is going to be our final answer. So it's 1 over 2 times, and we found that integral already, 3 minus 2 cosine of negative 1 plus 1/4 e to the negative 4 minus 1. And that is our whole answer. So this is 4 points. 1 point for setting up both of these integrals. So 1 point, not each, 1 point for getting both of them set up correctly. 2 points for the correct antiderivatives. And then 1 point for your final answer. Okay? So that is the last free response question this week, or this year. Man. There are a few things you need to make sure you do. You still need to do this week. First, there's a survey that has been posted that you need to complete. Has a little bit of information in there, but it's very important. Second, you need to make sure you show up to Friday's mandatory Zoom meeting. I will be posting the link on It's Learning and letting y'all know about that. Hopefully you'll already know about it on Monday. Lastly, you will have one more assignment on Friday. Super easy. What you're going to do, and I'm going to explain it now, but you'll see the instructions on It's Learning as well. You're going to, in the top left corner, on a blank piece of paper, whether lined or just blank white paper, it just needs to be a blank piece of paper. On the top left corner, you need to have the AP number that was emailed out to you and your initials. On the top right corner, you need to have number 1 and circled. Okay? I want you to do 3 pages of just that. AP number in the top left, and then your initials, and the first page will have number 1. Then you'll do the second page, AP number in the top left, your initials, and then number 2. That is it. It is just to get you practiced and ready for taking pictures and submitting and making sure you have the right information on your answers for the AP exam. Y'all let me know if you have any questions. Y'all have a great day.